we have a very special guest by the name of Ashanta Antoinette. Now, ladies, can you guys tell me what cities you're representing?
I'm in Baltimore.
Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm over here in Marina Del Rey, California. So happy to have you guys here with me tonight. Now, Ashanta is a very amazing woman. She's been married and she's been divorced, but she made it through, and she created her own Butterfly Rose agency, and she's a motivational speaker as well. Ashanta, can you tell us how you created this agency and why you created it?
So it's funny because as a little girl, I always knew that I would be doing something along this realm. I just didn't know how, when, what about, etc. But I went on a fast in September, and September the 3rd, we were camping. It was Labor Day weekend. I woke up, like literally shot up out of my sleep, like I'm gonna help people, and then everything from then just kind of just aligned itself, from the name to my niche of people that I was going to be serving, even my first 2 clients, thank God. And so it just kind of happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really amazing. You decided to do it fast. Was it a spiritual fast? Was it have a faith-based fast?
So yeah, it was a spiritual-based fast. I knew there was something I was being pulled to. I just didn't know what. More before it, ironically enough, before that I was an event planner. I still am. I'm just wrapping up my final events before I'm calling it complete quits. But I was praying to God, maybe starting in July. Like, I'm trying to figure this out. I don't know where to go. And then my cousin suggests that I pray about a fast and how to fast and what to fast from. And I did. I got my answers. I kicked it off the 1st, and by the 3rd, the clarity just came raining down.
Wow. So I have a question. So who inspired you as a child?
I enjoyed it.
Is what I was wondering. Only because, we are heavily influenced by, a lot of what, the people that we grow up with and what we see with our environment. So that was one of my questions was, who inspired you the most when you were growing up?
So I didn't realize this until, I guess one could say it was too late, but my cousin Jackie, who has now passed on, she's a little bit younger than my mother, so they grew up like sisters, and she was around my entire childhood up until almost 2 years ago, and she was just the most compassionate person. Whether she had to give you a shirt off her back, she would feed anybody, she took care of everybody, she always wanted to keep the family together, and we didn't really realize how much until she was gone that like we needed her, like she was our support, and so she definitely was my inspiration growing up.
Oh.
That's really sweet. That's really sweet. It's good to have someone like that in your corner.
Absolutely.
Can you explain to us what your agency, what services they offer?
So right now we're just offering one-on-one coaching. I'm in the process of creating a course for women to take a self-guided course, and it's going to be about a 16-week course. It's a breakup with your pain. Breaking up with pain. That'll just help women to basically kick pain's ass. Like, say the hell with that broken relationship and all the things that it brought you. I'm going to choose me and then help them heal from there.
Well, that's really nice, because our viewers, they're going through divorce or bad breakups. So I think this is like going to be the perfect curriculum for them. I'm really excited about it. Right, Dawn? Isn't it like really something that our viewers would be beneficial to them?
Yes, I think it definitely would be. I mean, there's nothing better than having an alliance on your side, just to back you up and kind of confirm what you're going through, confirm your feelings, not trivialize it, minimize it, things like that. But I think there's a point that we all come to when we go to these realizations. And so, like you were saying, when you had woken up and realized what you needed to do, did you have your pivotal moment before then, as far as like, that you definitely wanted to beat this or overcome being defeated, that you needed to come out stronger than before? And do you have, can you pinpoint when that actually happened for you?
Yeah. So I left my ex-husband November of 2019. At the time, it just felt like no other option. Like I was literally just draining myself to say I was married at that point. And I remember shortly after, my family went on our first annual girls trip, where all of the women from the youngest to the oldest, like my 2-year-old niece to my 85-year-old grandmother, all went on this trip. And it was such an empowering thing to be around women, but no one really knew what I was going through. And I came home, my car was broken down. It was just like a bunch of things were just like trying to.
Dawn and I've been there too.
And I remember
I had a broke down car.
Okay. And I remember standing in my kitchen like, I am done with this. I'm done with being broken. I'm done with being broke. I'm ready like for a change. And I was like screaming like, God, like I need you to help me figure this out. Help me to heal all these things that I've allowed my husband to do these things to me. And it was probably the best conversation. That's how I say it. I pray, but I feel like I really converse with God. And it's probably the best conversation we've had, because I felt like I was really I just let it all out. And then within a month, things started changing for me. Like I got a new job. I was able to really start healing because I had finally put all of that behind me and let go. I filed for divorce January 2nd of actually this year. I couldn't wait for the damn courthouses to open back up. And so that I feel like was my moment of like, this is it. I need a change.
That's good.
Okay. That's really interesting, because Dawn's going through a divorce too, so I think she can relate to some of the stuff that you're going through, especially that online course.
About a year and a half.
It's not an easy process.
Yeah, it's not at all.
I have a viewer by the name of Keith. He was on Instagram. He wanted to know, what made you decide to focus on only females versus couples?
So my friends can attest to this. When I've always been the girl that people come to for advice. And even if you don't come to me, I'm going to offer it. And not in a like judgmental or attacking way, but I always like to share to help people. And I always say I'm speaking from experience. And I feel like I can't help men because I'm not one. And there's no relation there. And so I wanted to speak to people that can relate to me and that I can relate to. And so for me, women going through what I've gone through was the best option.
Okay.
Sorry, Keith.
Okay. Sorry, Keith. How long have you been a coach?
I just opened. Actually, ironically enough, I kept getting another pool. Like I said I wasn't gonna open until January, and then I had went through got everything that I needed to get together between September and October, and the first week in November came, and I kept saying just start. I kept reading it everywhere. People would text me things, and they weren't talking about the business, but just something that said just start. And so the 4th came, and I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna start tomorrow. And then I went and launched the next day. That was the day, a year from the day I left my husband. So it was like ironic and crazy. I woke up and I was like, wait a minute. So, yep, just a month and some change. But I'm super excited.
That's wonderful. Like when you move on and then more doors open for you. I'm happy to hear that.
There's this meme that I see often. I think people can relate to it, even if you don't necessarily have spiritual beliefs. There's this meme of God or Jesus holding holding a small teddy bear in front of her, and she's basically like crying because God has his hand out and he wants to take it from her. What she doesn't know is behind his back, he has a much larger teddy bear with the red bow on it. And it's kind of like when you let go of certain small things that you think are like valuable to you, but like really kind of holding you back, you open the doors for much bigger blessings to come your way. And so I think that has been my journey. Like, I left my husband, the doors have opened. So I really think that I use that meme all the time because I always try to relate that to almost every situation I go through, like, but bigger. So
right. And that is a good
to hear that.
Yeah,
it's true too. Like, we've all had dated some sorry fools before.
Okay. I can think of many other adjectives than such.
What has been some of the most memorable client experiences? When through coaching, like, what has been the most exciting or memorable thing that you've gained out of coaching some of your clients?
So I want to say, just because I'm just starting, I had a coaching session with one of my clients today, and she made me cry. I remember, like, just through conversation, today was just our third session, but just through conversation, just how, because she's actively going through a divorce, how broken she was, and not just based on her divorce, but a couple of things in her life where she wasn't 100% choosing herself. And I hate that I can't remember exactly what it was, but she said something that showed like the things that I'm teaching her is like sinking in. And I was like, oh my God, like, to hear it like working. I know it's going to work, but to see it, it's like, okay, yes, I'm doing the right thing. Like, I'm on the right path. So definitely today.
That's really, really nice. And then just being there for a lot of individuals, sometimes they're very isolated when they're going through a divorce. So it's really nice to have a support system, an online support system too. How does empowering women affect the community or society as a whole?
I feel like, you know how that thing when they say, like, if you smile at somebody, then they smile at the next person, and then they smile at the next person. It's kind of like that transfer of energy. Like, if I help this girl out, and then she can help out her friend, and then she'll tell her mom, and then she can provide that wisdom to her best friend, and then that circle continues. So I feel like if we all kind of leg each other up, then there is no other choices for us all to get there. And so I definitely feel like helping one can help us all.
Okay, I like
Even
to hear
if
that.
it's just this conversation.
That's really nice. Echo, do you have some more questions for her?
I do. So with all the knowledge and experience that you went through and starting your own business and getting this going and showing the support, with everything that you know, what advice would you have given yourself when you were young, as far as like what to expect, or just to kind of maybe prepare yourself, for the adventure that we all go through, whether it's good, scary, or do you have any advice you would give to somebody young?
And when it comes to relationships with men or women, whomever you choose, I tell my little cousins or like teenagers to leave after the first lie. I think when we all we get to the end.
Oh my God! Did you hear that, you guys? Leave after the first line. Damn it.
Yep.
Yeah.
To the end of it, and you're like, well, that was a sign, and that was a sign, and that was certainly a red flag. And we feel like, because we're so. I told my sister this the other day. Like, we get so obsessed with who people can be, and we just paint that picture, forgetting like, no, let's figure out who the fuck he is, right? Because he's. Yeah. And so definitely leave after the first line.
I like that. That's really good. Yes.
Thank you.
I love that, honestly. I'm like, why can't
Thank you.
That's the dang truth. Yeah, we always ignore those red flags. It's like we gotta learn somehow.
Okay.
Tell us, how did you survive a divorce? What helped you?
Prayer definitely first. Definitely. My best friend, who ironically enough had just gotten married, was probably the biggest crutch in support system ever. That makes me want to cry a little bit. I don't think she could ever not give advice or even just an ear, despite I'm in my house sad, crying, tears, tissue, and her husband probably just had their best date, and she was still able to be as there for me as she possibly can. And I will forever, ever, ever thank her for that. I think those two definitely helped me get through, like, to see the sunny days again.
That is so good.
Okay. Dawn, you have another question?
I do. So, like, with your strengths and your prayers and things like that, did you have any discrepancies with that in your marriage, or is that part of, did that have an influence on the marriage as well? Or I'm just curious, because it's the discrepancies in my marriage. It had a lot to do with faith and influence, and where it lacked, and where there was disagreements, or So from what my experience and talking to a lot of other people, they have a lot of different opinions. So I was just wondering if that had influenced your marriage.
I'm gonna say no, and it's solely because I married what I didn't know at the time was a narcissist, and so nothing. And I'm not like trying to say I'm the best of the best. I'm damn good, but nothing about me outside of the fact that I didn't leave after the first lie, that I allowed way more than I ever should have. Hurt me in the marriage, I'll say. It was definitely, it was, I don't say it's all him, but it was definitely all him. Definitely all him. He broke our marriage up, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
How long were you married for?
I was married for a year. Ooh, I don't even know how many months it was, because I could not wait to get a damn divorce. It wasn't long. It was a year and 8 months, a year and 9 months. Wow. A year and 11 months.
Well, you're smart. At least you didn't waste, like I wasted 10 years of my life with someone before. Like, dang, I wish I got that lesson a long time ago to leave quicker. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We got to. I feel like, because and I've had this conversation actually recently too. We are taught, maybe subconsciously, I don't know. I don't understand where it comes from. But as women, we have to go through things to become wives. I've never heard a man say, yeah, she cheated on me and I took her back, or yeah, she didn't want to pay any of the bills, she was just messing up the money and I took her back. Women are constantly like accepting shit and having to tough through things with men just so we can say we have spouses. Like, I don't want to. That for me and my next partner, it's hard for me to even say husband again. But my next partner, I feel like I don't want to have to go through shit. I'm serious though, because it's hard to even say. But I don't want to think that I have to tough some shit out with my partner, my spouse, in order to like be happy. Like, I get that people go through things and everything's cookies and cream, but I don't want to have to like sweep shit under the rug just to say we're happy. Like, no, I'm not doing that again. I've done it already a couple times. I
read Steve Harvey's book. What's it called? Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man, or something like that. Man. So, and he said the same thing. He's like, men move on quick, women don't. We like hold on for years and years and stuff. And so, reading this book, I was like, why do we stay for years when we know that this isn't getting us anywhere? You know what I mean? Like, I think we've been conditioned. Or like, the upbringing, even like religion, like it kind of like oppresses women and teaches us to like stand,
But I used to always say, I hope that anything that I've gone through is so that my daughter doesn't have to, so that my nieces don't have to, so that my little cousins don't have to. We just took our second annual trip, and we were talking about a lot of things, teen pregnancy, as a teen mom, and various things. And I'm like, I will never, like, my cousin's like rolling her eyes. She's like 14. And I'm like, I will never shut up, because if my hard lessons can prevent you from living a hard life, then I've done my job. Then my things weren't in vain. And so I'm always preaching to them, because no, go the easy way. Life is already hard. Why do things to make it harder? You know? Yeah. And so I definitely no, we're not toughing through shit with men no more. That's over. If men are listening, it's over. We're not doing that anymore. We all decline. So respectfully, we decline. We decline.
Exactly. Looking back at your past marriage, what advice do you have for couples? Do you see anything? Well, I know you mentioned the red flag, like the first slide. Do you have any more advice for couples?
I do. I think that counseling should be almost mandatory when it comes to before marrying someone, because there are things that can come up. We went to counseling shortly after our marriage, and there are things that came up that I had no idea he was feeling. And just take your time. It's okay. If you're gonna be together forever, you'll be together forever. You don't have to rush into a marriage, or anything for that matter. Just slow down.
Okay. All right. Dawn, do you have another question for her?
Yes. So you were saying that, like the differences between you and your ex, and you were talking about how you had to deal with a narcissist. Do you have any advice for women on how to deal with that, or how to, yourself from them?
What are the signs of a narcissist?
I know what's so funny. This is like the first lie. So me and my ex-husband were friends just a little bit before we started dating, and we had a very whirlwind romance. I'm not even gonna say how long it was before we did anything. From between getting engaged and getting married, it was really fast. And he moved in my house really fast. And one thing he would tell me when we would talk, like, oh, I got up this morning, because he would say he was Muslim. And he got up this morning, he worked out, and he prayed. And he moved in my house very shortly thereafter. And we lived together for over a year, about a year and a half. He never worked out and prayed. Like, how in the hell did you go from consistency? How did you go from consistently doing that? Like, I was up at 5 a.m. working out and praying. Like, and you never did that when you moved out. So it's like, oh my God, don't. Yeah, it would leave after the first lie. I should have fucking left. Like, that was the first lie, and I just like, okay, maybe he's, I don't know. I don't need. See, you paint these pictures, so you decide that, okay, I'm just gonna ignore that he completely fucking lied to me. Either he was, child. There's a lot, but yeah, that was for sure.
She needs our investigator. Like we interviewed an investigator before in our show. The investigator would have helped in that situation.
First, seriously, or I could have just like opened my eyes, but that weird thing called love.
Yeah, the honeymoon era.
Have you ever thought about having a divorce party? I wanted one so bad, but I really don't know why I didn't have one. I wanted to have one in October. Oh, I wasn't divorced yet. That's why. Last October. I had it all planned out in my head. I was going to wear this cute outfit. It was white. It had a bodice at the top with like roses over here. We were going to like do all these like cleansing and spiritual things. I can tell you for one. Well, one, that October, I wasn't married. I mean, I was still married. And then two, we were actually giving it another go. And then two, when I actually got divorced, I was so ready to be divorced that I was like, fuck anything, like really relation to it. I just wanted that to be over. Like, I couldn't wait. We had to do virtual because of COVID, and I was so excited. Okay, when they were coming, okay, like I just wanted it to be over.
Yeah. Dang. It's that bad, huh?
If I was still angry, I'd have probably had like a dartboard with his face on it or something.
Oh yeah. If we have a divorce party, we'll invite you. We might have to do a divorce party.
That works for me.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, I'm having one.
Can you share with us details on your breakup with pain course? What can our viewers expect?
Like very, very beginning stages. Like,
okay,
I'm still pen to paper. All I know right now is it's going to be 16 weeks, and I think it's going to be about 6 modules of different stages of growth. That's literally all I've outlined so far, and I'm hoping to release it before February. But I want to make sure it's absolutely perfect. But yeah.
Okay.
It's coming.
Dawn, the floor is yours. Whatever question. Wonderful. Dawn, the floor is yours. What questions do you have for her?
Well, so with everything, with all of your experience and you said that you are always helping, or giving advice or doing, whatever you could to empower women even before you were doing this. What was some of the most devastating circumstances that you had to help with, and how did you handle that, and how are they doing now, or do you?
Not enough women in my family have gotten married for anyone to have gone through a divorce. I have had to witness teen pregnancy, and that is something as a teen mom that I just hate seeing, because it's life-changing forever, and there's nothing you can do about it. You have a baby and it's yours, and you have to I don't want to say suffer the consequences, but depending on the circumstances, you are suffering the consequences. Your body changes, your friends change, your finances change, your priorities change. And there's something so just like devastating about looking in someone in the face and being like, your whole life is about to just be not fucked up, but fucked up for a while. Fucked up for a while for sure. And I just remember what that was like. I used to think I was going to be a coach for my teenage pregnancy. Because that's been something that's always really, really important to me. And so I really hate seeing it because I know what it feels like, and it sucks. It really does. It really does.
It's hard. Yeah. I can imagine it being hard.
For sure.
Any more questions, Dawn?
Well, let me see here. No, I mean, she's almost answered everything. I think the one thing that there was one question that I had left, and that was, how long did you know before you actually were going through the motions? Like, how long did you know that it wasn't working out before you guys actually spoke about it? Like,
week 1? No, just
it was over. It's funny that you said that. It was over very quickly, and I just didn't know. Maybe I didn't want to accept it. I'm not sure. In the weeks leading up to our actual separation, I knew. He was working on the house, though. This is so funny, and I've never said this out loud. But he was working on the house. We were getting the floors done downstairs, and I'm like, I really want this motherfucker to leave, but he has to finish these floors. And so we only got like a couple of weeks longer than I would have liked to. I would say I knew at least 2 months that there was nothing else I can do. And I prayed a whole lot about it, and I prayed, like, if this is wrong, show me. But it kept being right, that it was time for his stay was up here. So like about 2 months.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Now, since a lot of our viewers are going through bad breakups or divorces, what advice do you have for them to find some type of joy, like, from day to day, or just find some joy, like going through this process? What can make them feel a bit more uplifted?
So it's probably going to be initially hard, but you have to literally remember who the fuck you are. Like, there's so much power in just being a woman, period. But a man doesn't define, and we have to like get away from the idea that a man defines us. Like we get married and then we're somebody's wife, but like what about all the other titles you have? And I feel like that was like my biggest thing, like starting to get dressed again, starting to like reach out to my friends who I had like kind of went away from where I was going through the motions of everything. I would really say just find the power in who you are and just get back to that, even, or find a new you. I birthed a new me with my divorce, and I'm very, I feel like if that's why that all happened, I'm grateful for it.
Okay. Where can we find out more about you and your course?
So my Instagram is probably the best place. I do have a website, and I actually have to put some more information about my upcoming course and some various. Oh
Yes,
wow!
What is that?
I got super jealous. My Instagram is probably the best place.
That's where a real man brings you guys. Okay.
I love it. I love it.
Here's what
Okay, go ahead. Okay. Where do we find out more about you, Ashante?
It's okay. So the Butterfly Rose Instagram at the Butterfly Rose Agency. My website is also the butterflyroseagency.com. Those are the two places where I'm showing up the most right now. And anything that comes from further will be definitely posted on my Instagram.
Okay.
Are you the only one that's running this whole thing, or do you have a couple of people in mind that you would like to help, or how's that going to work?
So when I wrote my vision statement, it will become a full-fledged agency of coaches helping various women with various types of niches. Today, it is just me. In a few years, I'm sure it's going to be me and a team of women helping women, empower women all the way across the world.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you.
That's great.
Well, that was a fun interview. Do you guys have any last words? Oh, do you have any last words for an ex? We usually end with last words for an ex.
You know what I feel like sometimes is the best response, honestly? None. I would not speak to my ex if we like had to grab the door at the grocery store at the same time. Like, it's fuck him. No. No response.
That's how it was with my daughter's dad. I seen him on Mill Avenue and I act like I didn't even know who he was.
Period. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
It didn't even
I get
happen.
it. I really, really get it. Well, that was a really fun interview, Ashante. We're so happy that you spent this evening with us, and we look forward to building with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope we can have a divorce party with you.
I would love to be a part of a divorce party for sure.
Yes, that would be fun.
All right, is everything good on your side, Echo?
Yes, everything was great.
All right, we're going to close the show. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for being a part of the show tonight.
Thank you. Bye.